It's telling us there's a choice. We could write our own rules and think we're smarter than God, or we could humbly submit to his wise call. It says it's often a subtle thing going on almost unnoticed, but it has huge implications for the way we live. You and I step over God's boundaries because there are moments in our lives when we are able to convince ourselves that we are smarter than God. We tell ourselves that what he says is wrong isn't so wrong after all. We convince ourselves that we can disobey God and it will all work out in the end. We tell ourselves that our way is better than God's way. The big lie that fuels all this is that there is life, real life, to be found on the other side of the boundaries that the all-knowing, all-wise God has set for us, right? That's the lie that we believe, that there's life, like real life, outside of the rules, outside of the guardrails. It says it's the lie that was first told, embraced, and acted upon in that terrible moment in the Garden of Eden. Human beings have fallen into believing that lie ever since. The psalmist says, I will never forget your precepts, for by them you have given me life, and I have more understanding than all of my teachers. For your testimonies are my meditation. The unfolding of your words gives light and imparts understanding to the simple. It says, there it is. God's precepts give life. Yet a husband will think that he can be critical and demanding of his wife, and their marriage will be okay. Or you will think that you can spend more than you make, and your finances will work out in the end. Or I will come to believe that I can permit myself to lust without doing damage to my heart. In 1,000 ways, we tell ourselves that somehow, some way, we are, or this moment is, an exception to God's rules. It all exposes that we still have wandering hearts that are all too susceptible to the enemy's lies. And our wandering hearts don't always love what God says is good, right, true, lovely, and pure. Sometimes what God says is best doesn't look best to us, and sometimes what God says is evil doesn't appear evil to us. And in those moments, we are a danger to ourselves because we have brought into what is completely impossible, that we know more and are wiser than God. It is the height. How about this? It says it's the height of the delusion of sin. It is a dangerous and destructive moral irrationality. It leads us nowhere good. It never results in the life that we are seeking. And Proverbs 16:25 captures this delusion with brief but powerful words. It says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. This I'm smarter than God temptation stands as another argument for our daily need for grace.